water didn't just fall from the sky. It arrived like a moving wall. In a place once known for calm sunsets and roaring lions, rivers suddenly climbed fences, swallowed roads, and forced one of South Africa's most famous safari parks to shut its gates without warning. Tourists packed bags in minutes. Rangers ran instead of guided, and animals that once posed for cameras were suddenly fighting for survival. What really happened in those hours will surprise you, and before this story ends, you'll see how a natural wonder turned into a rescue zone almost overnight. If you value real stories from Africa that the headlines rush past, subscribe now and stay with me until the end, because the final moments of this disaster reveal lessons every community should hear. At first, the rain felt ordinary. Summer storms are nothing new in South Africa. Clouds gather, thunder speaks, and life continues. But this time, the rain didn't pause. It stacked hour after hour, night after night, until soil that once absorbed water began to reject it. Streams widened into rivers. Rivers became moving streets. Inside the safari park, vehicles that once carried visitors rolled through mud instead of dust. Staff noticed something wrong when drainage ditches overflowed faster than they could clear them. The land was saturated. Nature had flipped a switch. By the second day, alarms started quietly. Bridges trembled. Access roads cracked. Rangers who had spent years reading animal behavior were now reading water behavior instead. They saw hippos drifting too close to fences, antelope standing on shrinking patches of ground, and predators pacing as their territories disappeared. Floodwater doesn't ask permission. It simply takes space, and the park was running out of it. Then came the moment nobody forgets. Overnight, rain upstream released like a dam without walls. Water surged through valleys, carrying branches, rocks, and broken fencing. Lodges lost power. Radios crackled with evacuation calls. Guests were rushed out before sunrise, not with binoculars, but with emergency bags. One staff member later said the silence afterward felt heavier than the storm itself. A park built for wonder had become a zone of survival. Closing a safari park is never simple. These places are living systems, not buildings. Animals don't check out. They don't understand danger signs. As gates shut, teams stayed behind to move vulnerable species to higher ground where possible. Young calves were guided uphill, birds scattered from flooded nests. Even large animals hesitated, confused by water where paths used to be. Floods don't just damage land, they rewrite instincts. Short sentence, everything changed. Beyond the fences, communities were already struggling. Roads connecting villages to towns disappeared under brown, rushing water. Emergency crews worked with limited access, sometimes reaching people only by boat or tractor. Crops drowned. Livestock vanished. What happened inside the park reflected what was happening outside it, nature overwhelming human planning. When water rises faster than response, survival becomes improvisation. Experts later explained that extreme rainfall events are becoming less predictable. Weather systems now dump more water in shorter periods. That means soil never gets recovery time. When saturation hits, flooding accelerates. Two facts matter here. Heavier rain and weaker drainage systems collide, disaster follows. Powerful truth. Inside the safari park, infrastructure showed its limits. Ecolodges built to blend with nature were suddenly exposed to nature's full force. Wooden walkways floated away. Solar panels tilted under pressure. Backup generators ran until fuel lines were threatened. Rangers slept in shifts, not for comfort, but to listen for structural cracks and animal distress calls. A safari is peaceful when land is stable. When it's flooded, it becomes a battlefield between design and reality. Tourism also took a hit. Safari parks support thousands of jobs: guides, cooks, drivers, conservation officers, cleaners, trackers. Closing the gates isn't just pausing tourism, it pauses income. Families depending on visitor seasons suddenly faced uncertainty. A flood doesn't just move water, it moves economies. Short sentence. People felt it fast. Rescue operations inside wildlife zones are different from city floods. You can't just send machines everywhere. Some areas require quiet movement to avoid panicking animals. Boats passed giraffes standing in water up to their knees. Crocodiles relocated naturally into unexpected spaces. Rangers balanced safety with respect for ecosystems. Every step had to protect humans and animals at the same time. That's conservation under pressure. Scientists observing the event pointed out another hidden danger: pollution. Floodwaters sweep fuel, waste, and debris into rivers. That contaminates drinking sources for animals and people. One flood can create sickness weeks later. Two facts again: water spreads life, and water spreads risk instantly. What shocked many visitors was how fast beauty turned fragile. One week you photograph lions at sunset. The next, the same ground is underwater and empty. Safari parks depend on predictability: migration routes, seasons, terrain stability. Floods erase predictability. Short sentence. Nature rewrites rules. Midway through the crisis, authorities officially ordered temporary closure. Not because tourism failed, but because safety demanded it. Helicopters surveyed damage. Engineers checked bridge foundations. Conservationists tracked animal movement shifts. The goal wasn't reopening quickly, it was reopening correctly. Rushing nature after trauma only multiplies losses. As waters slowly receded, new problems appeared. Mud locked vehicles in place. Fence lines needed rebuilding. Some animals had wandered into neighboring farmland, creating conflict risks with people. Rangers worked with communities to safely guide wildlife back. Conservation doesn't end at park borders. Short sentence: it expands outward. This flood also carried a bigger message. Climate patterns across southern Africa are shifting. Rain seasons arrive late, then attack early. Dry months stretch, then collapse into storms. Infrastructure built decades ago no longer matches modern extremes. Two truths collide: old systems and new climates. Tension grows. Safari parks are now rethinking design: higher foundations, smarter drainage, emergency animal corridors, backup evacuation mapping. Floods become teachers even when they destroy. One ranger said, "The land talks when it's hurting." Listening is survival. Tourists watching from abroad may think closures are temporary inconveniences. But behind those closed gates are people rebuilding livelihoods and animals relearning terrain. Recovery isn't dramatic, it's patient. Grass must regrow, rivers must calm, trust must return. Short sentence: healing takes time. What happened at this famed safari park is not isolated. It's a preview. When extreme weather meets treasured ecosystems, protection becomes urgent. Conservation isn't just about saving animals. It's about adapting humans to changing nature. As South Africa dries, floods, heats, and cools in unpredictable ways, parks will either evolve or repeatedly suffer. The future of safari tourism depends not only on beauty, but on resilience. Two facts stay clear: climate is shifting and preparation is power always. And that brings us to now. The gates remain quiet, but the work is loud. Rangers repair. Scientists monitor. Communities rebuild. Animals reclaim ground slowly, cautiously, instinctively. From disaster grows redesign. From chaos grows knowledge. Short sentence: survival is learning. If stories like this matter to you, real African moments beyond headlines, subscribe and stay connected. Because what happens in our parks today shapes tourism, conservation, and safety tomorrow. Watching to the end helps support deeper storytelling like this. And the next video reveals another powerful transformation happening across southern Africa right now. Floods closed a safari park, but they opened a conversation about climate, about protection, about how fast paradise can change. Nature doesn't warn